Hey, before we get started today, I have a question for everybody out there. How's your ass been?
Wait, what are you asking?
Their ass been, honey. How's their ass been? I mean, is it shredded or shaved? Only because I had a real problem with Aspen this week, so I thought it was one of the things we could talk about in today's video. Hey, welcome to video number 24, everybody. I have so much stuff planned for you guys today. We did 2 collection tours. I filmed all the stuff I think you guys are going to be really interested in. We're going to talk a little bit about imported emerald tree boas. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, I want to talk about aspen, or I should say substrates in general. I just hate using substrate, guys. And I've been keeping this really beautiful. She is a 2019 diamond jungle carpet. I've been keeping her in a CB70 tub with the shredded aspen chips. And what happened was, yesterday, I had just moved her out of the tub, and yesterday I moved her into this 48-inch enclosure, which she seems to love. She loves the perching. And all of a sudden, I noticed she had a really bad, what seemed like a respiratory infection, just the constant, that's hissing through the nose, the mouth open, the whole thing. So, of course, I'm thinking, oh, great, she has a respiratory. And upon closer examination, I just took a look inside of her mouth, and I saw a bunch of these little aspen, the shredded aspen chips inside her mouth, all caked on the roof of her mouth. And that's why I'm really in favor of using, either a paper like I have in this enclosure right here, newspaper, something along those lines. I know a lot of people use different types of substrates out there, and they don't seem to have an issue with them. And they always say to me the same thing. These animals in the wild, they ingest a lot of the substrate. They're going to be fine if they ingest it. Their digestive juices are able to dissolve bones. Why wouldn't they be able to dissolve some aspen chips? But the reality is, once they dissolve them, it's not a problem any longer. But if they get caught in their teeth, or on the roof of their mouth, it could cause infection, it can cause some serious problems. So anyway, I am not a big fan of substrates. That confirmed it yesterday when I found the aspen lodged in this animal's mouth. So anyway, if you're using substrates, all I can tell you is if you're having luck, great, keep using them. But I keep pushing everybody out there, if you can, to use some type of newspaper. I think it's just far safer in the long run. Hey, so show season is starting up right now. COVID rules and restrictions are starting to subside a bit, and it was a big show in Arlington last week, and with shows come a lot of adult imported emerald tree boas. And I know if you're watching this channel, there's 2 reasons for it. A, you love arboreals, and 2, you probably really enjoy watching mature, handsome men. So with that in mind, I am going to stress to everybody out there, I know as tempting as it is, because they're so difficult to come across, please do not buy these adult imported emerald tree boas, okay? They are extremely dehydrated, and they are loaded with parasites, okay? Yes, they come with a very low price tag, usually about $450 to $500, and I know they're really difficult to come by, but again, guys, I'm stressing to you out there to pass by these animals, okay? And when I say they're dehydrated, don't think you're just going to be able to take these animals home and soak them and get them hydrated that way. It's just simply not that easy. And they also are prone to regurgitation. So let me put things in perspective. If you don't have a lot of experience with arboreals and you take these animals home, you have about, maybe at best, a 10% chance of being successful with that animal. And when I say be successful, I mean having it actually be alive in less than 18 months from now. And don't be offended by that, because even the guys I know who I have a lot of respect for, who have a lot of knowledge and experience with northern emerald tree boas, those guys have at best a 50% chance of having those animals alive in the next 18 months. So they're really difficult. Now, I hear you out there. I know what everybody's saying. You're all saying to me right now, but Gary, we can't find these animals anywhere, so I'm willing to take that chance. So the first thing I'm going to say is, stop yelling at me. There is no reason to yell.
All right, you're the only one yelling.
Yeah, they started it, okay? And there's no reason to yell, like I said, but you can't get them. It's just that simple. When you see them at a table, you have to walk by them, because I'm just trying to save you guys money, and I'm trying to save you guys a lot of heartbreak. And I take no joy in any of this, believe me. It breaks my heart to see these animals. But again, show season starting. It is the season of the adult imported northern emerald tree boas. They're from Guyana, and they're from Suriname. But regardless of where they're from, and regardless of what the flesh peddler tells you behind the table, I promise you guys, you are not going to be successful with these animals. So please steer clear. Hey, so this is another one of my northern emerald tree boas, another female. She's a sister to the one I had out earlier. I bought her as a captive born baby, and that's why I'm always stressing you guys, look for captive born or captive bred babies, and just be patient about it. And hopefully we'll all be able to get some sooner rather than later. So today's video, I'm really excited. I am now fully vaccinated, which means I actually took a ride and I visited a couple friends' collections. One of them is a Boa breeder and keeper, and he had some exceptional animals that I know you guys are going to be really into. And another friend of mine, I really focused on some of the arboreals in his collection, some beautiful baby Amazon Basins and Aru chondros. I know you guys are going to love those as well. And I also had a couple clutches of granite spotted python eggs laid over the last couple weeks, and I'm going to show you the female. I'm going to count those eggs with you guys. But before we do any of that, did you like my video yet? Did you subscribe to my channel? Are you following me on Instagram, GS Reptiles on Instagram? If you're not, please go ahead and do that for me. That'd be great. And why don't we just jump in and enjoy these two tours. So I came downstairs this morning, I guess it was about 6 o'clock, and I checked in on some of my animals, and I noticed this granite spotted python was starting to lay her clutch of eggs. She's I think today, I want to say she's like day 32 post-ovulation shed, and her sister is also gravid too, she's also day 32 post-ovulation shed. So yeah, going longer than they should. I'm not, like I said, in my previous video, I didn't get overly concerned about it. I figured, hey, let her do her thing. She definitely was not egg bound. So I have no idea how many eggs are here, guys. So what I'm going to do is zoom in on her. So yeah, she's a granite spotted python. She was bred to another granite spotted python. From what I can see right now, the eggs look great. But tell you what, let me get in there. Let me separate her from the eggs. And while I'm doing that, why don't you guys check out my buddy Mike C's beautiful collection, which includes a lot of really nice arboreal animals. And I'll be right back to show you the eggs. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I have to stop and interrupt this video for 1 second. Actually, you know what? Let me just mute this. I was just watching my most favorite YouTube channel. Sky is a riot. This next segment we did is I used a buddy of mine who had filmed it for me, and due to some technical difficulties, which I didn't realize till afterwards, when I was filming some of Mike's collection, just a lot of stuff didn't come out that I was hoping would come out, specifically like his Aru chondro. So at some point I'm going to get back to Mike's place and I'm going to show you his Aru chondro, so show you some of his other stuff. So the bad news is I did miss a lot of his collection. The good news is that my buddy who was helping me, I immediately terminated him, so we'll never have to worry about him again helping me with the camera. And so for now, just enjoy this abbreviated version of a tour of Mike's facility. Yep. Guys, I don't know about you, but whenever I come to a collection and I start seeing baby Amazon Basin emeralds, I just get super jealous. These are 3 babies that Mike recently picked up. These actually came over from Kevin at Nerd, and thanks to Jeremy and thanks to Rob for helping with this transaction. But what I really want to talk about is these are 2020 late babies, maybe early 2021 babies. And what I want to talk about is how Mike has them set up. I stress this all the time, just simplicity in the setup. These are 15-quart Rubbermaid containers. Again, purchased by David Brahms with the water bowl. Mike keeps the bottom of the enclosures nice and damp for humidity. We're always shooting for 60 to 70% humidity, and we are shooting for 81 to 83 degrees as far as temperatures. So at this size, these guys are well started on fuzzy mice. And it always amazes me when I see a baby Basin, because as small as they are already at least, I would say 4 to 5 times the size of a neonate chondro. Baby chondros are born at about 10 to 12 grams. I guarantee these animals are probably in the, I'd say 35 gram range to 40 gram range, something along those lines. But anyway, you can see the nice dorsal coming in on that. I can only imagine what that thing's going to look like as an adult. And the one thing I can tell everybody out there is that, yes, I plan on adding and growing my collection in the very near future, and that the additions are going to come in the way of more Basin emeralds, because I'm pretty much obsessed with them. Trying to zoom in on this animal for you guys. This is a pure Manokwari chondro. This animal was produced by Vitali. I'll put Vitali's contact information. I don't know if he has any clutches coming along this year, but this was a red neonate. That is a pure Manokwari, and that's again on the Ron Rundo purchase, and just a beautiful animal. As I'm continuing to go through Mike's collection, I haven't been here in a long time. This is a beautiful Aru. This animal's coming up on a couple years old, produced by Ryan Young. If you guys don't know Ryan out there, you should. He's a big chondro breeder, focuses on a lot of locality animals, and just a really pretty animal. And I wish these animals were more readily available. It's just getting tougher and tougher to find pure locality animals, especially Aru chondros. But anyway, it's a beautiful animal. It's got a couple years to go before it's going to be able to breed, but just a lot of that white's going to be coming out, I promise you that. It just takes a little bit of time. Hey guys, I wanted to show off, so I have the boa fowl cages. Mike's also a big fan of Jeff's cages. He's got the Purchased from David Brahms. This is a pretty diamond python that we're hoping might be gravid this year. And this is a big Suriname female down here that's definitely gravid. And a few years ago I posted some of this animal's babies for sale. And if you're a red tail fan out there, you're into Surinames, this is an amazing... What's the line on these animals?
Mega Peaks.
These are Vin Russo Mega Peaks line, yes, an amazing female, and the babies will be spectacular. And I could say that confidently because I've seen the babies in the past. And then over here we just have, Mike has, these are the old Habitat Systems cages, and these are purchased by Ron Rundo. You may have seen Ron advertising these perches. They're handmade, and they look, you would think they were real. I promise you that. They're amazing perches, and that's Ron Rundo. I'm not sure what Ron's information is, but I will go ahead and post it on the bottom of this video. And that's the root pair that I had just pulled out for you guys. Get it a close-up on them. Alright, so, hey, I'll take this for a first clutch of the season. Looks like 8 perfect eggs. This is Antaresia maculosus. This is the granite phase. I think the average, I think it's about 11 eggs is the average, but I'm happy with 8. They're all perfect, no slugs, no dimpling, nothing. So I'll set them up in the no substrate method. Works for me. I use it on all my animals, whether it's Angolan pythons, Savu pythons, green tree pythons. I like it. It's pretty much foolproof. It's just water as a substrate instead of any type of incubation medium. Hey, listen, Houtrite works and Vermiculite works. They all work. This is just what I choose to use. And 87, 88 degrees, and these will hatch in about, I want to say 55, 60 days, something in that area. And then here's Mom. Mom looks great. She's not retained any eggs, which is always a relief. I cleaned out her entire enclosure. It's all new substrate in there. I scrubbed her hide box. There's no scenting of eggs. And she'll probably start feeding right away for me. And I mean, these guys are just this is like the third actually smallest python species in the world. And she'll regain all her weight within about 3 months. She'll be perfect. She'll go through a shed, and you'll never be able to even tell she had laid any eggs this season. So anyway, first clutch of the season, 8 perfect eggs. I'm happy with that. And I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I was just down here in the snake room and checking on, I had another granite spotted python due to lay, and I checked her out a couple hours ago. I saw she was in the middle of laying, so she should be done now. And it looks like she's done. So this girl is 4 years old. She's a sister to the animal I showed you earlier, her later eggs. So these sisters are 4 years old. They both had their post-ovulation sheds on March 23rd. So what does that mean? That means today makes it day 34 since her post-ovulation shed. And if you looked in a book, the complete children's python, all the Antaresia species, it says it takes about, on average, 23 days for these animals to lay their eggs after post-ovulation shed. So as you can tell, she's way past that, 11 days past that, right? So as I mentioned in my previous video, you can't panic. These animals do not always do things by the book, and you just got to let them do things on their own time frame. I did check on her, a few times. Actually, I checked on her every day for the last few days, and I can tell you she in no way appeared to be egg-bound, so I was not really nervous about her at all. But she looks awesome, and I'm going to get her off these eggs. Take a guess. How many eggs do you think are in there? Let's cheat a little bit. So we know her sister had 8 eggs. I can't tell how many are in there. I'm trying. I'm going to say it's at least 8. I'm going to take a guess, and I'm going to say 9 on this clutch. I don't know what you guys think, but so let's get her off of here. And while I'm doing all that, check out this awesome boa collection with my friend Slavic Schwartz. You're going to love some of these boas, and I'll be right back, and we'll figure out exactly how many eggs this girl has. Hey, so I know we're in our Boreal channel. We don't do a lot of stuff with boas. I know nothing about boas, guys. So I fully confess that. But guess what? My friend Slavic Schwartz, I'm out here on Long Island today. He knows a lot about boas, and he's got some awesome stuff. I mean, we all go to shows, and especially being our Boreal guys, we see a lot of animals, we see a lot of boas. And I'll be honest, a lot of them start to look the same to me, but the reason I wanted to show Slav off today is because his stuff, I promise you, is unlike any other boas that are out there. So we're going to start out by just going to add a couple of these IMG animals, Slav. So why don't you, by the way, Slavic Schwartz is on Facebook, and he is Bitchin' Boas. You've probably seen Bitchin' Boas on Facebook. You see it on Instagram, so that's where you're going to find him. But Slav, why don't you tell us about what we're holding here?
Sure, Gary. And so what we have here is, first I should go with what Gary's holding. So he's holding a 2020 female IMG albino. And she's probably one of the best that I've seen, and probably one of the reasons.
Did you bring her in from Europe, Slav?
No. So she was produced locally here. I actually owned the Arabesque IMG male that was het albino.
Okay.
And a friend of mine got him from me, and he bred the IMG Arabesque het albino male to his pastel normal that was also het albino. So they produced some amazing Arabesque IMGs and also albino IMGs.
And you guys can't see the coloration on this rock. I don't know if you can come in a little closer and try to zoom the best you can. But I am telling you, if you saw this compared to other boas, you were at a show and there were 100 boas on the table and you saw this animal, it would clearly stand out. So I hope it's showing up. But it's pretty awesome. And so this is what, Slav?
And so this is 2019 IMG Key West. That's also 50% possible het Anery 1. So I got him when he was a baby, and this is what most people know of IMGs. They turn almost like solid black.
Yeah.
When he was a baby, he was like grayish color. And his tail, you can see some of the color that he still has, and some of the pattern that he has from the Key West.
Can you show his belly, Slav? That animal
Sure.
such a super black belly.
So,
just love that thing. And you were telling me before, so when I go to a show and I see a black devil, and then I see this at a show, what are like the two primary, I mean, it's all genetics, I know, but what's the main differences between the black devil and this IMG stuff?
Sure. So this IMG is pure Colombian. So the Key West in him, the IMG in him is all Colombian. The Black Devils are Black Eye Anery, which is a Central American form, and they're bred to an IMG. So it's kind of a cross, but they tend to be a little bit on the smaller side.
Okay.
And they get jet black because a lot of the Central American-based boas are darker naturally.
Yeah, but I got to tell you guys, if you saw these animals live, they'd blow you away because they're awesome, and it definitely makes me consider getting some boas. Slav, what are we looking at here?
So here we have a 2014 Super Hypo salmon line. So it's like a double dose of hypo together. Okay. And she's also 100% het leopard.
Cool. And this is the animal with the blue eyes, right?
So, and she has blue eyes. I don't know if you can get close up of her.
Try to do that. And guys, I'm going to put a picture again of this female up. I'll get a good picture of her face so you can see her blue eyes. But look, I know when you're looking at this animal right now, you're going, Gary, what are you showing us? She's a pretty snake, but she looks like a, somewhat of a quote-unquote normal boa. But guys, what you're going to understand, the reason I'm showing you this animal is because I'm going to show you, she produced 25 babies last year, and I'm going to, after we show you the male that sired this female, I'm going to show you one of the red babies. But so she was, tell us again, Slav, what is she exactly?
So she's a salmon hypo, a super salmon hypo.
Super salmon hypo. Okay.
And she's 100% het leopard.
Okay, so now that we looked at her, now why don't we take the male out?
Sounds good.
All right, guys, I know at first glance this looks like, somewhat just of a, another albino boa, but I'm telling you, I'm seeing this animal in person. I told Slav, we got to take this thing out. I have to show you guys this snake. So what exactly are we looking at here, Slav?
So this is actually a sunglow. So he's a 2016 lipstick line sunglow leopard. Okay. So he's a visual leopard, and you can see the solid dark red eyes. Yeah. I produced them so I can make possibly the reddest boas that I can.
Right. So that's the whole thing, guys. That's why I'm showing this animal. I showed you that female before, and now we're showing you this is the sire. And the reason we're taking these animals out because I'm going to show you just how red the offspring are to these animals. But yeah, I don't know. I just never seen a boa that this kind of pattern on it, Slav, before. And again, I'm an arboreal guy, so pardon my ignorance, but when I look at an animal like this, it just looks completely different to me.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I actually held them back is he was patternless. A lot of the leopards have a lot of pattern, a lot of pigmentation. Yeah. He had very little, which I was hoping would produce a clean red boa.
Yeah. So why don't we take the offspring out of this male?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so guys, this is why I was showing you the parents. I hope it's coming across on camera, and again, I will put a photo up, but this is the most red boa I've personally ever seen. And, part of what I want to do with my channel is, I know everybody here is really, we're all focused on arboreals, but I love showing you guys species that I know that eventually I want to put in my collection, and these hypo leopard boas are definitely one of them, and man, I would be so pumped to get one from Slav. Slav, what can you tell us about this animal?
So she's the result of the two adults we just showed you. So she's a probable super hypo leopard, and she's also 100% het lipstick albino. Probable because usually with super hypos you have to prove them out through breeding, but based on the way she looks and her clean tail and what her litter mates look like, I think she will probably prove out. She is the reddest boa I produced so far, and hoping that my next litter, which I'm using the jungle gene with the same sire, would produce something as good as her, if not better. So we'll hopefully see that in June.
Yeah, what's cool, guys, is I think we mentioned earlier, so that pair we showed you before this, they were the parents. They produced 25 babies in the litter. This was the most red. And hey, what's really cool is if that you're interested in getting any of these animals, not this one, because if Slav ever sells it, it's definitely coming to my house. But he is expecting a litter again this year, and fingers crossed, he'll have a nice size litter. He'll be able to make some babies available. And again, I want to make sure we all know Slavic Schwartz, and he calls himself Bitchin' Boas. And how I found out about Slav is I was just scrolling through Facebook, my feed. Not a big boa guy, but this one pretty much made me stop in my tracks when I saw how red it was. And I just had to find out more about it because, again, I would really love to get a pair of these things in my collection. So, again, Slavic Schwartz with Bitchin' Boas, and Slavic is on Instagram, and I'll put all his contact information on the bottom of this video. And if I made anybody out there a new boa fan today, well, hey, good for you guys, because I think it's all about just, keeping an open mind and just looking sometimes outside of the arboreal world. Thanks, Slav.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay, so if like me you guessed 9, well, you were wrong. 10 was the grand total. They all look perfect, have a couple little weird dimpling marks on them, but they look great. So 10 eggs, 8 from her sister yesterday, 10 from her today, so 18 granite spotted python eggs in the incubator, so I'm excited about that. And then you can take a look at, here's mom over here. She looks awesome. I cleaned out her entire enclosure. Not only did I empty all the substrate, guys, what I also did was I scrubbed it down with hot water and with soap. Even her hide dish, even her hide box here, basically I'm using a different hide box. I want to get everything that could possibly have the scent of the eggs on it out of her enclosure, just to ensure that she is not smelling her eggs, which means that she'll start feeding for me right away, probably within the next couple days, and I'll get her weight back on quickly. But she has fresh water, she's moving around. Most importantly, she did not retain any eggs. That's always the biggest concern when you have a female that lays, if they retain any eggs. But she looks awesome, the eggs look awesome. So again, we're going to wait 55, 60 days, and then I'll have a bunch of baby Antaresia to get feeding, which is always a lot of fun. Hey, hope you guys enjoy those tours. I got to tell you, those hypo boas, those hypo leopards are definitely on my wish list, and I'm hoping my buddy Mike hits on those Aru conjures. I'd love to get a few of those as well. Anyway, you know what you guys are always asking me about? Silver savus and green sanzinia. I get more inquiries about silver savus and green sanzinia more than any other animal. So this silver savu, I believe she's gravid right now. She's definitely loaded with follicles. I'm just waiting on an ovulation. And this is a 2020 silver savu that I produced last year before its onogenic color change. You see how light they are when they're born. You can see that kind of black speckling coming in on the side. And this is ultimately what the end result is going to be. I absolutely love these animals. And I got to tell you, they have a reputation of being just somewhat aggressive, cage aggressive, but they just have a strong feeding response. But as soon as you get them out, they're extremely mellow. So anyway, guys, US ARC, as always, I'm going to ask for your support. They do so much for us and ask so little from us. So please check out US ARC. They need our money now more than ever. And other than that, that's it. The weather's getting really nice here on the East Coast. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and wherever you live. And I hope to see everybody back in a couple weeks. Who has the best YouTube channel? Me